Hi guys, this is Nick Marinero. This is just a picture of my family here. My wife Carrie, son Luke, who's 5, and my daughter Nora, who is 3. Currently, I work at Lancaster Catholic High School. I teach Algebra 1 and Geometry. Mostly, I work with foundations level students or general level students. So my other duties, I'm director of our entrepreneurship leadership program, which we just started last year. So we're kind of beginning stages of that. And I am also one of our technology integrators at the building too. Currently, we're actually in the transition from iPads to Chromebooks. We use Canvas, so I kind of help our teachers and students get integrated with most of those tools. As far as the program goes now, I'm the ACTE program. My focus is on online teaching. After 699, I only have one more class to go, so I'm actually pretty pumped about that. So hoping this class runs smooth, as I'm sure it will, and then I have 635 after this. Some of the things I love is obviously time with my family is number one, especially my kids being 3 and 5. It's an awesome age. Number one is Philadelphia sports, and obviously I don't say anything right now, but being an Eagles fan is pretty awesome. So I am totally hyped for the Super Bowl and crossing my fingers we finally get it done this year. I'm a 4 for 4 guy, so Eagles, Philly, Sixers, Flyers, anything is good for me. Into fitness, I try to when I can. I'll be 40 soon, so I'm trying to stay in shape, trying to stay young. I love Star Wars. My son loves Star Wars. Trips to the beach. We love Ocean City. This is just some picture of my kids. So it's fun times. As far as with the content for question 1, with Mills and Spencer in the 4 stages, what do I find most difficult? I kind of look back. I just took methods of research in the fall, which we all have taken at one point, and when looking to write my prospectus, some of the areas that I had trouble with was like identifying my area of focus and narrowing it down. It took me a couple different times before I really figured out where I wanted to go with my paper in the fall. And I tried many different times to narrow that focus down, seeing what research has already been conducted, what else was out there. So really looking at the questions like, what am I trying to accomplish? Like, am I asking the right questions? Like, so I had to rewrite my questions many times. Well, like, I wasn't even sure when I began. I did a paper on like what was the completion rate, giving the students the option to complete tasks online or offline, not just one or the other. But what if we gave them the option of doing both? And like digging around and seeing what has been researched. But there's a lot of research behind that. I just had to find the right research to answer my questions and to begin and see how I would begin my own research project if asked to. The other part that I felt like after I did that was like, how would I go about developing that action plan? You know, where would I even start? You know, what to do with the data that I got? Where do I begin? So yeah, that's 2 things. I guess I could have picked one, but like when I was looking at that specific task, those were the 2 things that came to my mind right away. As far as the obstacles, when you talk about, you know, if we're supposed to make action research as teachers part of our daily practice, you know, what obstacles are we going to face along the way? I think the biggest obstacle it always is when you're in the teaching profession is time. You know, so you do this research and you want to action, you know, come up with an action plan afterwards. I think we all look back and reflect on our lessons, and then that's the easy part. And the hardest part is though changing the course of action. Well, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? How am I going to change it next time? A lot of times we've already at that point we're on to the next day. So how do we change that plan going forward? Is it something that we're going to change immediately? Is it something we're going to change for next year when we get to this again? You know, how do we implement those changes? You know, and really taking a hard look at self-assessment and seeing where is it something that I need to change, or is it something that, you know, a practice that I'm changing on my own, or is it something that, you know, I can change with my students? The third question, as far as stories from the field, I guess the story that resonated with me more was Julie Nora, the one from Roger Williams Middle School. And I guess what caught me is that I would kind of look at it the same way she did. She originally went into this project kind of probably out of obligation, and a lot of people were doing it. She went with 12 different colleagues and ended up with just two. Um, and I've been in those situations a lot of times where you do things and you do things as a group just because it's kind of what's expected, and then it kind of just falters away and fades out, and nobody ever really sticks with it. So that's one of the things I think it resonated me, and the fact that she went in with a question. She wanted to see how like studying these standards, how it would really help her kids going forward. Like what she was doing, would it impact them? Would it improve performance? And I guess it's the biggest thing. We really want to, be looking at the performance level of our students. What are we doing that's actually improving performance more than anything else? I look at that from my role as a tech integrator. Like I want to look at the different things and going forward, if, when we do this action research project, what can I do to enhance the performance of the students, that I'm serving? Um, this is experiment with new ways of doing things is one of the best ways. And I think as teachers, sometimes we struggle with experimenting because we don't know if something isn't going to work. And like sometimes failure is okay. Um, the other thing I liked about this specific story is that she recognized using other people's perspectives to enrich our own. I like working with other people. I like interacting with other staff. I like sometimes sitting in just a think tank and throwing ideas back and forth. I think that a lot can be accomplished by doing that as long as you act on those new ideas and those suggestions and that brainstorming. Combining people together is always a good thing. And sharing those triumphs and concerns together. Like what is working, oh, this worked great, or like, honestly, I bombed here. This is why. This is what I would do differently. Instead of just only doing that self-assessment, but actually like talking as a group and going this over with, with your colleagues. I guess the concerns I'd have going forward is, can I get my students to fully and honestly participate, whatever this project might be, however this unfolds? Luckily, I have like two pretty smaller groups, so I worry a little bit about the numbers there. Like, do I have enough numbers to give me some accurate data? Because I am a tech integrator too, I kind of teach part-time and I do the tech integration on the other side. So I don't have the normal amount of students that probably a lot of other teachers have. And the other thing would be, can I get my colleagues to work with me? Is this something I can get them to buy in with me? Going forward, if I can get them to work with me on the specific project. But I look forward to see what unfolds this semester. I'm looking forward to the course and see everybody online.